Hi guys, it's Hannah from Trekitt and I'm here in the beautiful Hoff Woods just outside of Hereford to talk to you guys today about the differences between down and synthetic insulation. So the threat of winter is lingering and now is that time of year that we start looking for a new insulating piece. Maybe you already have a preference or maybe you don't have a clue where to start, and that's okay. Hopefully in a few short minutes I will have cleared up what might be best for you and your chosen activity. So we're going to start right from the very beginning. So let's start with down insulation. Now, down is effectively the fluffy plumage underneath the bellies of ducks and geese. Now, the job of this plumage is to keep their eggs warm by trapping warm air from the bodies of the ducks and geese in the filaments and air spaces of the down. Now, in a jacket, that will effectively work the same way. So the down clusters will trap warm air from your body in the air spaces and filaments. To work effectively, down needs to be super fine, have lots of filaments and be super fluffy. Now the fluffier the down is, the more space it can occupy and the more warm air it can trap. So that fluffiness is technically called loft. So the higher the loft, the better the insulation. Now, to give you an indication of a garment's loft, a standard is used called fill power. Now, fill power is the measurement that 1 ounce of down will take up in cubic inches. So if a garment has a fill power of 750, that means that 1 ounce of the down used in the garment will fill up 750 cubic inches, or the equivalent of about 12 litres. So the higher the fill power, the better the down will insulate. So as a responsible human, it's also important to pay attention to where your down comes from. Many manufacturers are now adopting industry-recognised standards to ensure that the down is collected as sustainably and as ethically as possible. Now, if you want to read more on where your down comes from, then we'll pop all the links and information in the description below. Okay, so let's now go through the pros of down insulation. So ounce for ounce, down is warmer for its weight than synthetic. Very, very few man-made fibres will hold up to the same warmth standard as down. So with proper care, down maintains its shape and loft for many, many more years than synthetic insulation does. So the next one is that down is highly compressible. So most down jackets will come with a little stuff sack and you can stuff it in and chuck it in your pack and it'll take up much less room than a synthetically insulated jacket. So one of the cons of using down insulation is that it will lose roughly 90% of its thermal efficiency when it gets wet, and it takes a long time for it to dry out. So some manufacturers are trying to get around this problem by using hydrophobically treated down. So that means all the clusters of down are coated in a hydrophobic treatment, which means that it resists water for a bit longer, it retains its loft a bit better when it gets wet, and it also dries a lot quicker. Now this doesn't make a down jacket waterproof in any way, so do always carry your shell with you because it's most likely going to rain when you're out. So it also requires a lot more care to look after. So with down products, a down detergent should always be used. Don't just use your standard kind of fabric home detergents. And then after that, it needs to be popped in the tumble dryer on quite a low heat with a couple of tennis balls. We have actually written a blog that goes into a lot more detail than that, so do follow the link up here and just give that a quick read when it comes to washing your down products. Down products are also typically more expensive than synthetic products, especially the garments with the higher fill power. Although it's not a problem for many people, down jackets are also not hypoallergenic. So although the down itself may not cause a reaction, in lower quality down products, dust and other non-down debris can get trapped in there. Higher quality down though is sterilized and washed very thoroughly. So if you are prone to this kind of sensitivity, then we do recommend that you invest in a higher quality down product or opt for synthetic. So where is down most effective then? So down is best used in cold, dry conditions where there's not a threat that you're going to be caught out in a rainstorm. It's also really good when you are focusing on the weight of your pack or the weight of your garments, as it's much lighter for its warmth. They're also very good as insulating pieces underneath the shell on very cold and damp days, and also work very well as static pieces. So when I say that, I talk about pieces that you'll wear when you're not moving very much. So if you're at belay points climbing, or if you're on a frosty Sunday morning watching your son playing rugby. Okay, so moving on to synthetic insulation. Now there are literally hundreds of different types of synthetic insulation out on the market today, but they're all effectively polyester fibres that either come out as a long sheet and are cut into long singular strands, or they're pulled apart to mimic the fluidity and consistency of down. There are many different technologies that fall under synthetic insulation, but the end result is all fairly similar. It is an insulated jacket that is made to mimic the warm trapping qualities of down. So let's go through the pros of synthetic insulation. So firstly, unlike untreated down, synthetic insulation will retain most of its warmth when it gets wet, which is essential in our highly reliable British weather. If you're on a budget, synthetic insulation is usually cheaper than down too. Synthetic is also easier to care for. So it's usually machine washable, and that's in the jackets and in the sleeping bags. We do, of course, recommend that you check the care labels before just chucking it in. And you don't always have to tumble dry it afterwards. You can just hang it up and give it a good ruffle through. Most synthetic insulations are also completely hypoallergenic, so if you keep them clean, then they won't cause any allergies. Okay, so now let's go through the cons. So synthetic insulation is much heavier and bulkier than down, so you'll require a much higher weight and volume for you to be as warm and comfortable in an equivalent down jacket. Next thing is that synthetic fibres will break down and lose their lofting capabilities faster than high quality down products. So where is synthetic insulation most effective? So synthetic particularly excels on those days when you're not really sure what the weather's going to do. It also is really good as an active piece because synthetic insulation manages sweat and moisture much more effectively than down does. So hopefully I've managed to cover everything in this video, but as usual, if you have any comments or questions, then pop them in the comment section below. If you love the video and you want to see our full range of insulation pieces, then do head to the link up here. We'd also love you to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. We do try and post them on a weekly basis. Otherwise, that's everything from me for this week. Thank you guys. See you next time.